Thanks to everyone who could join today. We're going to start our tricentric pipeline archetype webinar where we take the personas of security, operations, and development, and we create a pipeline that has no impediments for code to go to production. In the future webinars, we will include the data science teams, but today we're just going to focus on the three. Okay, let's take a look at it as a model. We're essentially trying to create a exemplar for an organization. What that'll be composed of is, again, through the three personas. The developer will focus on just committing code. That is currently what we found in the market where DevOps does not produce developers that want to manage production. Then we have the ops side, which is basically the visibility of all steps to increase confidence and reliability, and that's what their hope is out of the pipeline. As velocity increases, they need to manage the risk and quality concerns. The security team is something we invented. It's basically governance engineering where we add an overlay on the continuous delivery pipeline, which is a governor to set the standards, right? We're going to share how we use templates for advancing pipelines and adoption. We're going to show how we do GitOps and infrastructure as code to prevent drift from dev to prod, get the KPIs, create the operating model, and then reach the ultimate of implicit approval, where you don't need to have someone approve your release. Okay, let's talk about security governance and governance engineering. So the model basically, you create standards that represent your security array. That array is generally something like code quality, regulatory, cybersecurity, application security. And in these examples, what we do is we create what steps need to occur in the pipeline that then represent either the integration or the output value that you're looking for to set what you would consider to be data collection, gates, or integration requirements for those pipelines. Some examples at the bottom here are code quality, container image scans, and then checking those gates. This is a better example. Let's say you want to scan your environment. There are two steps that you want to do. One is the integration, which means I'm actually doing the scan, and then the other one is what are the scan results. So integration is the first step. Second step is output validation, and if you want to gate it or not. Let's move to the other persona, which is basically operations and site reliability engineering. What are they looking for, right? They wanted visibility. So what we're trying to do here is handle two portions of what operations is concerned about. One is changes to the infrastructure in the environment, right? Something has changed in there, either adding nodes, creating new environments. We're taking a Terraform approach, which is infrastructure as code, and then we're managing that via the pipeline to make sure that those changes that are tested in dev are actually then implemented in prod, and we validate there's no risk or impact to the production environment. The second portion of it is the ability to make change in the environment and not impact ongoing transactions or customer experience, which is the second portion of it. How do I see all the stages before I go to prod? I want to see that my tickets are managed. I want to see my vulnerabilities are managed. I want to see that development and non-prod were successful. I want to see that all in tickets and as a single construct to take it to production. The other side is day two. So if I handle environment scans, I handle development, visibility, and non-prod visibility. I handle image CVEs in the respect to containers, code quality standards. I'm looking for the dashboards that will then give me the visibility for day two, right? There will be issues that you can't have this proactive approach where AI solves everything. You're still going to need to know what's in your environment, what is the risk in my environment beyond the KPIs. This is after the fact that it's deployed. Let's move to the development persona, which basically says, look, I just want to commit code. So in our model, we have webhooks that essentially connect to, let's say, Bitbucket or GitHub, where we're instrumenting from that point of, oh, I have something on develop that needs to go to prod. I want to test it out. So let's get back to the developer persona. He really just wants to commit code. He does not want to operate production. What we need to do is make sure that the visibility and reliability of the pipelines that are prior to production meet the requirements, at the same time have agility. So what we're trying to do here is make sure there's a branching strategy for Git, which will be most likely in Bitbucket or GitHub, where if someone has a pull request, we can then have that process kick off a pipeline. That pipeline will handle multiple components. It'll handle the workflows of non-production before the pipeline to production runs. It'll also handle the CI portion, which is the artifact build. There's a lot of components that need to be orchestrated and automated with regards to code quality, testing, and things like that. So we create the validation and verification steps, as well as the code quality requirements as part of the pipeline. Again, these are integration and output, which means there are declarative requirements, there are value inputs that get populated and passed through the pipeline. So the guy who is looking at the production deployment or is the steward of environment has confidence to go to production. Now, for a developer to operate in this more robust setting, to have velocity with risk management and quality, we need to provide the gates, but as well, we need to provide a method to adopt. So what we do is create templates that then is used by the development teams to say, look, here's the standards that you're setting. You're now measuring me. I don't look that great right now. I can't spend time on this because my business is more about committing code. How can you help me? So what we do is we create a template library, and that library basically is drop ship code into a pipeline. So as they're creating their pipeline models, which we can give as well as a template, they can then add components to get visibility and potentially remediate. So we're not judging or gating. We're looking at the development and trying to say, look, what's the delta between releases? Let's improve it so we can have continuous improvement and reduce our risk as we incorporate our velocity. All of this is tracked in Jira. All of this is tracked in ServiceNow. It's all integrated. No one needs to manage tickets anymore. All we need to manage is approval until we reach 100% compliance. Then we hit the ultimate goal for development and operations and security is no more meetings, no more CAB, just verified measurements to go to production, calculated risks to protect the customer experience, and implicit approval. Thanks. Take care.